Hey everyone, today I'm in Ralston, Oklahoma, and we're gonna get kind of a group personal tour of the old opera house that's just down here on Main Street. So stay tuned and let's have a look around at this old town. Upstairs is the opera house, and you can see at the very top of that building it says Harry Brothers in 1902 right up there. And of course the hardware store was down here. These right here are actually antique stores, and there's a bunch of antiques in there, and they're actually really good prices. So if you're ever passing through here, stop in there if he's open and shop a little. But you can get a good look of this opera house, of what it used to look like, and then of course what it looks like now. Don's gonna raise the curtain here. What's behind? Haha.
Bride. That was in the opera house. We found it wrapped in burlap, hidden in a drawer. I have no idea how old it is, but I can tell you the lady was extremely thin. Well, this is a mannequin. You know, I worked the mannequin deal for it. You know how thin a mannequin waist is. I could barely zip it up on that mannequin.
Oh, really?
The building was built, officially opened in 1902. It was built by the Harry brothers, along with a good friend of theirs named George Bullock. George had immigrated from England and come over here during the land rush era, as did the Harrys. They came from Kansas, and settled here after 1894.
So I'm now at the back of the opera house, and you can see all these seats here. They're pretty cool. Original seats in here. You can see more of them up over that way. There's 200 of them total. And these are all wood floors in here. You can see right up there at the top, the little door that opens has the projector that they used to use for the silent movies. It may not be the original projector, but that's where they would have shown it from. This right here looks like the ticket booth. You can see the window, how it would lift up there. Pretty cool, some of the decorations that they've hung up in here as they've fixed it up. So this is one of the magicians that would have performed in here. And you can see an old newspaper press here from the Ralston Free Press. And this is supposedly the famous person, or close to being famous person, that they had performing here. Jermaine the Wizard. So these pictures are part of the restoration effort that they did way back when, in the 80s sometime. That person up there on the windows. I'll show you the windows outside, but can't imagine standing on there like that.
But yeah, definitely got to have the lift. Got to get modern looking in, get those windows replaced.
Some seniors of 1927 from Ralston High School.
Kaiser had that today. The original was hanging on here with the old canvas and rotted. It faded. I got a picture of that. It's funny because I posted on Forgotten.
Some old advertisements for Harry Brothers, the hardware store that's downtown, downstairs. It says the path across the hill. I know it's kind of hard to read. It's dim in here. Here's some kind of early movie posters there.
Yeah, during the oil boom too. That was right during Prohibition.
So this is the antique shop that's downstairs from the Opera House. The last time I saw this, it was all boarded up on the front. He's turned it in sort of an antique type shop where the proceeds of this benefit the restoration effort of the Opera House.
The old cash drawer was over there. It used to be the kind when you pulled out, the old bell would ding. The hardware on the doors and stuff is all original. All this was bought from a company in St. Louis. Back then you could order like steel storefronts. So all the decorative stuff came from them. You used to have a fold-out awning. In fact, if you look, you can still see the brackets. And it would fold out with the cloth awning. They figured out pretty quickly in Oklahoma, cloth awnings and the wind did not go well together. So they ended up putting a metal awning to cover it. This side here was the hardware. That side there was the mercantile where they sold clothing, some dry goods, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Trenching. Well, the lieutenant was up there under a shade tree drinking lemonade.
What the heck?
Yeah, we thought so.
You can see this sign here where it's on the National Register of Historic Places. It's pretty neat to just see some of this old design here that's no longer around. Pretty cool.
Shell, the old saloon rebuilt front facade with the swinging doors and everything. Leave grass in there. I have tables.
And then the apartments above them had.
In case you missed it, Don was saying that he's planning on starting a wedding venue.
This would have had the old tin ceilings in there, which you can see is all gone. And of course, no floors in here either anymore.
So that was
Well, there's a little bit of flooring right there.
Oh yeah, you can see the damage in the back.
Yeah, actually, until that collapsed, the wood up there actually was still in pretty good shape.
That's what I started saying. It looks pretty good. Here, let me step out. And there's the
Okay, sandwich. Hi, Janice.
Dawn, one more time, this was the funeral home, or the,
Hunsaker Furniture and Undertaking.
okay, Hunsaker Furniture and Undertaking.
Correct. Yeah, this is where they started. They also sold a little bit of hardware, implements, stuff like that.
Oh, that was valuable.
There's all these old bricks in here. Tons of
Yeah,
them.
exactly. What's a big deal, you know? You just whip together a few
Definitely more things in the back there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it goes cheap a lot of times. Oh, this had the good ceiling too.
It did have, yeah, but it was so rusted and, you know.
Yeah.
See the
Yeah, some
windows?
pieces of it were good, but obviously somebody stole them.
Yeah.
So Don was just saying that the collapse in the back of this building is from the earthquake that happened in Pawnee in 2016. And that fell in back there. So you said this was originally a general store?
Yes.
Okay.
As far back as I can remember, and as far as I know, that's what it was from the very beginning.
The house across.
So we got some wires and some tin roof that's about to fall on you there.
Which one? The one? Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see some of the tin roof still here.
Bill Brandenburg's living there.
We thought it was empty since the Johnson grass was
Yeah,
grown up
yeah,
over
they
it.
go around the Johnson grass.
Okay.
It's a decorative feature.
If you look here, you can notice that they put in a drop ceiling. Some of the remnants of that drop ceiling are there. It's cool to see that tin ceiling all rusted and the paint peeling.
You got paid a nickel for each spit
A couple pieces look like they could fall at any time. It has a little bit of everything in here. And recently it was purchased, and Dawn is going to donate it to the city. Hopefully get another business in here. Get it going. These pieces of tin which are about to fall, they're just rust holes all the way through it. And you can see some cracks at the back. And there's this little door here that just opens up into the millery. And you can get a good look. There's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of antique looking stuff here as well. And you can see the old tin ceiling there with the wood slats behind. And of course the sunlight just coming straight through where the hole is back there. Quite a bit of damage in the ceiling there. And their hopes are to restore all of this and to get this town going again. So it's pretty ironic. There's a sign right here that says not responsible for accidents. And as you can see, there's not too many chances around here for accidents. Don't you think? A lot of old records, vinyl records over there. Stereos.
They do.
So this was a restaurant and then a bar. And it's pretty cool. It looks like it was an old jail, but and I say that because of these bars that are on the window. But the name of the bar was actually called the jail. So that's pretty interesting. This First State Bank is no longer in service, but it is where they hold the town hall meetings. City council meets and they discuss the future plans of the city. It's pretty neat to see how it was and then how it is now, though. It's been kept up pretty nice both on the inside and the outside. You'll notice that the date on it says 1902.
Our idea of little shops and everything, those would have come naturally. Anyway, what time is it?
Here's a look at the vault in the bank here. Pretty cool. Sturdy looking door there. Not too often do you get a view from behind the counter at a bank. This is what it would have looked like if you were working back behind here.
It's going to get rehabbed this year. They're supposed to start on it in July. That big bell you see there is the original fire bell, which used to hang in the center right here. When everybody would run up there, it hung on a big wooden tower. And somehow they hoisted that up there with horses, but they got it done. To give you an idea, this water tower was standing and in use when the Titanic sank.
1912.
Yeah, this was built in 1911 by Chicago Bridge and Iron Works.
Now, is that a rusted out spot there? Where the
Yeah, it's a double wall. They're going to have to weld some plates and stuff on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been in continuous use for 100 and
Is it still in use?
still in use.
Wow.
2 concrete blocks a day. Yeah, he poured the concrete in there, let it cure, pop them out, and he built them.
So this is the inside, which is now outside of the old Silver Moon Saloon.
Of course, you know how they build it is they had a wooden form.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They set the
Yeah, see, I've got the problem inside the back corner of the Opera House where there's an arch keyway.
See one of the sliding doors right there.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna.
Is it one crack inside?
And yeah, we have a ton of little ones, you know, but this one just didn't stop.
Uh-huh.
So I get up, you know, and it was shaking enough. You were having trouble walking.
Yeah.
I get in the front room, and she's got the.
Happy birthday, Don. Happy birthday to you. Put it on my tab.
Get you a glimpse. It's pretty close to this photo that you'll see right here. Lots changed. This summer they're supposed to be restoring that water tower and they're going to make it look brand new. So it's going to be interesting to come back and see the difference then. The name of this church now is Ralston Bible Church. And it's pretty interesting. There's quite a bit of changes. They've obviously, underneath the arches, they've filled that in with a little bit of wood or something and a door. And then of course, one of the windows has been busted out and covered up with plywood. But so there's been a lot of changes to this building throughout the years. And of course, there's that addition there. But you can see how this building used to look, and you can still see it's relatively the same on this front part though. As you sit and stare at these stairs right here, these little steps, and you think back about how many people have posed on these steps for various things. Maybe they had a wedding, maybe they graduated from school. Happy times and sad times were right on these steps right here. Just kind of a glimpse of the old past, but pretty neat to see. I love the old masonry on this building, all the old rock work, brickwork, all of that. The very top up there, I know there's a glare from the sun, but there's a great big huge wasp nest. It's ginormous. But it's such a beautiful building. So originally, this was the first Christian church, as you can see here. And it was built in 1913. You can see what the original pastor was. And that is the cornerstone marker of this church. Like I said, now has this addition onto it, but this is the old part that we're looking at right through here. Pretty neat that it's still standing. This building right here is dated 1922. You can kind of see this is just Main Street, looking down Main Street. And there is a store right down there that's still in business. And supposedly it closed at noon, which it's past noon now. So currently, there are no businesses open. There's really not much in here. This is kind of the main downtown area. And here you got the old sidewalks. And across from here, he was mentioning that there are other buildings, or there were other buildings that used to be here in this little empty lot. Now it's just basically cement slabs. And that right there is the post office. But you can see a lot of these buildings right here. They were all sorts of things, from ladies' wear and hat stores and bars, all kinds of stuff. And they're just kind of falling apart. Not sure what a lot of these buildings were. We got a little education on what some of them were, but see, they're just kind of gutted and empty and falling down. Check out this door frame right there. It's just barely hanging on. A lot of those brick structures from the side, they've all fallen in. And the roof, all the tin ceiling, the gables, everything. It's just absolutely collapsed. And this old house behind this building, I'm pretty sure no one's living in there. Got pretty substantial growth around it, as well as roof damage. A couple satellites. Don't think anyone's living in there anymore. What appears to be a garage there. He said this here was the original town jail. And of course now it has pumps in it for the town's water. But it was originally the jail. It's fantastic that it's still standing though. This is the back side of the Opera House. And you can see that there's a lot of glass windows there. One thing that's pretty neat is the back door. There's Don himself. Look at all the rock work and the back door right there. Love the architecture of this. Pretty neat stuff. You can see some kind of display cases right there from the old store. Look at the back side of that right there. Just looks like a storefront in itself, but it's in the back side of this kind of alleyway here. There's a sign up here on the left that says "Slow Children at Play." We came up through here earlier. Some of this, as you, they've been cutting down trees and kind of making it more visible for tours and everything like that. You can see some of these old, like wells, I guess there. Meters or something. Now this looks like it's all about to fall right through here. Now how neat would that be for your senior pictures, or this little archway right here, maybe a little wedding reception kind of courtyard. But this is a storefront there, and you can see an old sliding door there. But that is the empty part of a shell of a store, and there's just nothing here. Nothing in here, just brush. I think we went inside that earlier, but pretty neat to be able to walk inside. And that looks like it went over into another shop. Really, really cool to be able to walk inside this. The back door to another store. Might have been one of those bars, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Little speaker up there. This right here, the date on it says 1946. I believe he said that this was an automotive shop, if I remember that correctly. Now this is right here, this is the back side of the old bank that they're now using for city council meetings. See, it's just totally gone right here. Whatever this was, it's totally gone. It'd be neat if he can actually make this happen. Ooh, slipped there a little bit. If he can actually make this happen though, and restore all of this. It's pretty neat to picture something totally restored and it's some sort of resort. And we all had lunch over there at this little Ralston corner cafe. And looks like it's closed now, but I mean, it was really good food. I had a cheeseburger, fries, a drink, and it even came with dessert. I think it was like $6.99. Well worth the money. So if you're ever passing through here and they happen to be open, they have breakfast and lunch, I know. And they're not open on Sundays, but they are open the other days of the week. It's pretty good. Now upstairs, he was saying, you know, there'd be businesses down here. Then the upstairs would be more prominent businesses, maybe like doctors, dentists, stuff of that nature. As you look down here at the downtown area, the buildings all on the right, some of them are kind of halfway standing and stuff like that. There were buildings over on the other side as well, theaters and such. But they're gonna have to work at raising funds to recreate that. It's the Ralston Volunteer Fire Department. It's like an old army truck there. I don't have any clue as to what year it is though. This diner right here is no longer in operation. It used to be. But I guess he was saying that about a year ago she fell ill and had to close up shop. What's interesting is this bell right here. I'm not gonna ring it or anything, but just hit it with that piece of metal. Makes a big loud clang. Kind of sad to see a recently closed business though. Someone left their water bottles here, but inside you can still see what it was. Could be a nice little restaurant though, if anyone was interested in opening something up. Another old building over there. This one says the Rawhide Bar. See if you can peek in there a little bit and see anything. I can't see, so I don't know. I looked in this little hole earlier and I could see some booths or something in there. Major ceiling collapse there. See some of the old booths like for when it was like a restaurant bar maybe. That door just about had it. See some of the lighting there, some of those old tube lights, the old rope lights is what they called it. The windows are out up there. I'm looking inside here. This is what they called the old jail. It was a bar. Pretty neat. Look at the ceiling fan there. Just really had it. I'm looking at this. Inside there. Basically kind of has that old Western storefront look to it. If you look at it this way, you can almost just picture horses right out front here. To me, it was amazing as we went in these stores just to see how much was here of old businesses that were here. Everything lined up and just like it's almost ready to open, other than the fact that the ceilings have collapsed on a lot of it. Our windows have been broken. Look right here. There's a close sign on this. No soliciting. You can see all sorts of things in here too. Stuff on the shelves ready to sell. All kinds of stuff in there. I don't know if that was something that was signifying the last time it was open during the harvest season. Still got some of the tin ceiling there. Just these old doors with peel and paint. It's really cool. Antiques and other treasures. Some kind of old store here. You'll notice that there's those vines growing on the inside of this building, just completely filling up that window. Something else I noticed is this kind of creepy doll. It's like a scarecrow with no face. This is the back side of that building that was, well, this is the front side. We were along the back side and it's just completely empty. Just to show you, we were inside there on the back side. And you can see these posts right here. These were like electrical posts for like power lines, and I think they were much taller, but you can see where they were. Every one of these little cemented dotted areas would have had probably another pole, maybe a light pole on it, little light. And we were inside that earlier as well. Another old storefront here. Like I said, the last time I came through here, it's probably 4 years ago, and there were a lot of boards on these old shops, especially those right there that it's been since removed. Look at all the designs on this though. This Shattuck shop, originally it was a blacksmith and metal shop. And of course now the American Legion has it. And they rent it out as a bar actually, so if you want to have a party or whatever, I guess they rent it out to you for that. This building right here, I don't know what it ever was originally, but inside it has a bunch of motorcycles, old ones. Some Harleys, Triumphs, Hondas. Just another building gone. It's a good look at the town as it kind of slopes down. You can see the water tower. I'm not exactly sure why this fire hose is out. Just kind of leading over to where that fire hydrant is. This over there was the Walls Motor Company. It's a DX gas station, and used to have some pumps right out front there. Yeah, there was some old pumps and some cars right out front. In fact, I think we can go over on the side of this and still see where it says Motor Company on the side of it. Don't know if we can catch a peek of something inside the windows there. Maybe if we look down through this block. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me if you see something in there or not. We'll kind of angle it all around. maybe look up through there, and I can't tell if there's anything in there or not. Just kind of have to lift this up over my head and look in there. It kind of looks like there's something in there, but I don't know what. I can't tell from my angle. I have to look at it later. Don't know. Oh, I think I see an old Chevy truck right there. This is the side of it. But you can still make out where it says Motor Company up there. An old railroad tie up here. But yeah, you can still see where it says Walls Motor Company right up through there. I don't know what the deal is, man, but these wasp nests are all over this town. One other thing that was pretty cool I noticed earlier are these really old trucks back here. Check those things out. Some really old ones. It's quite a drop off on what I was on. Looking at that, I mean, you could take a bad tumble. It's the front of that old truck. It's like a Mack truck, and I don't know what that other is. I can't read it. I kind of got the bad angle, but pretty cool. There's those two trucks. And there's kind of a newer truck, maybe like about what was in that garage, that blue one over there. But look at those two right there. Man. Those are in pretty good shape too. I mean, obviously they need some work to get them to run, but man, look at those. They're in pretty good shape. There's no big time damage from what I can see on any of these trucks. Now this is a new bridge that's here. Originally, there was another bridge that went through here on this side, or I say originally, I was up in this area, I guess, I was up in this area about 4 years ago, and there was an older bridge through here, and it was kind of one of those almost kind of metal suspension type bridges, and it was kind of scary to drive across because there was actually chunks missing and looked like it could fall in the river at any time. This is a new bridge that they've built, and they were building it about 4 years ago, I guess. And I think maybe that could be the third bridge, but it's for sure at least the second bridge. This is Pawnee County on this side, and then you go across the river is Osage County. And that was all Osage Indian Nation territory over there. And so, you know, they weren't allowed to have alcohol or anything like that. So part of the reason why this town is here is they could actually have alcohol in this town. So some of the Native Americans would come over to this town and drink and get their alcohol, which is why they kind of had some bars here. It's part of the reason why the town was here. But one interesting fact that Don was also telling us is that there was originally a cemetery down here, the very first cemetery. There's still two cemeteries left here, one that's a little bit older and one that's a little bit newer. But originally they had a cemetery that was down here by the river, and they never, wait till this loud truck passes. Oh, it's a tractor. Now Don was telling us originally that there was a cemetery that was down here, and they didn't take into account that the river would rise. But when it did, it washed away the cemetery. And so for a long time, I guess there was an empty coffin sitting in there, kind of just marking the spot, but there's nothing left of it now. At one point in time, they ran ferries across this river, which was basically kind of a flotation barge and a rope that they would pull going across that river. But it also had fishing piers and all kinds of things that washed away with different floods, because when that water's down low right now, but it can really get up at times and really get to moving. It's completely overgrown right there, but that was the old ice house. And you would basically back up in there and they would load some ice in there for you. That's where you'd have to go to get your ice. It's kind of hard to match a picture up with all this overgrowth here. But I thought we might kind of step up in here and just take a peek. You can see this door here. Don't know if there's anything inside. Not much in there. That's the old ice house. And the front of it here. Some kind of little storefront that's obviously been redone. Don't know if there was ever a name up there or a date. And this eventually just leads to down under this building. You can see where there's kind of a hole in the ground right here. Now that hole leads up underneath where the old ice equipment was, the mechanical ice equipment. And Dawn was saying it's still down there, but it's completely rusted out. Not much to look at. You can see here on this one, pretty interesting. It says Coca-Cola. I don't know if this was some sort of restaurant or what, but it's got a bunch of clothes in it. Some kind of shop that it was converted into anyways. And then of course this is boarded up. I don't know what this would have been right here. If anybody knows what would have been right here, it would be great to know. Don might have told on the tour that he gave us, but I didn't catch it. Let's see what we can see out of this old sign right there. Oh, it's just a bunch of rings right there, I guess. Not sure what for. There's a hole punched in it right up there. But yeah, it's just got that sheet metal covering the storefronts or entrances of that. So you can't really see anything anymore. And there's a side view there. And more of those rings. This right here was also another service station. You can see where the old pumps were right here. I think it was a much older service station than what this was right here. But I'm not sure. At least from the pictures anyways, it looks older. So the goal is to restore this and get it looking to like it was back in the day. Maybe take some pictures of old cars out in front of it, things like that. Have old car meetups down the main street. Here's a picture of it before, and this is what it looks like today. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me on this little tour of this town. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little bit of something. And if you ever need something to do on a Saturday, come down here and just take a peek, maybe even on a Sunday. But if you catch it just right, you can catch a little tour of the old opera house. Buy something in that old antique store and help support the restoration efforts of this town. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.